All right. So as I mentioned before, today will be a pretty quick session, but I wanted to give some tips and tricks on generating business during the holidays, as well as considering the new year. I'm Michelle here at Solaredge, so I am the director of residential marketing on this side. But before I was here, I was actually a lead generation training director at a large solar company. And so my background is lead generation. I'm very passionate about it. And I fully feel that if you can generate your own business, then number one, I think we all know deals close faster, deals close more often. And it allows you to have a bit more predictable income if you are generating your own leads as opposed to relying on outside leads to come in. I know that probably a lot of you are thinking, look, I'm just trying to get stuff installed through the end of the year. I agree. But we have to bulk up our pipeline for next year and really have ourselves set up for January. So these are just a couple of tips that we have here that have worked in the past. Let's start with Thanksgiving since that's this week. We'll talk about how you can talk about solar at the Thanksgiving table without being awkward. We're also going to talk about how you can integrate solar into the Christmas season and have those discussions, and then how we can prime ourselves for the new year. So it's really interesting. I know that during the holidays, a lot of times we want to take breaks, which let's take a break, absolutely. But there is some reasons why this is a really great time to talk about solar. Ultimately, main theme is we're spending way more money in November and December than we are for the rest of the year, and we can all feel that on our wallets. But here's some interesting statistics. So home energy consumption actually spikes in December 20% to 30% on average across the US. So our homeowners are getting higher utility bills right now. December is also the most expensive energy month for many customers. So a lot of customers, especially let's talk about, Midwest to East Coast, they're getting 125 to $150 more expensive utility bills around this time because of those heaters. And so we want to help spread the, more predictable energy, cleaner, more affordable energy, and we can do that during that holiday season when those electricity bills are the highest. Also, as I mentioned, we're all spending about 30% more in December than we are for the rest of the year. And so any opportunity for us to save more money at the beginning of the year is great. But this also means that households in December are in the buying mood. So that is something that we can also help to drive our conversations is we all want to essentially spend money in December. And so maybe December is a great time to talk about solar. All right, Thanksgiving. So I know we all sit at that Thanksgiving table. We are having discussions, some awkward, some fun. And a lot of times our family wants to talk about what we're doing for work. Um, and that's why this is a great time to talk about solar at the table. But really, how do we make it not so awkward or sound like a sales pitch? That's what we want to make sure we're not doing. Here's some advantages as to why it's a great time to talk about solar at Thanksgiving. This is family that you infrequently interact with a lot of times. Maybe it's once a year, twice a year. So this allows you to open your network of people that trust you. And so this is a great time to have those conversations with people that you may not have conversations with day to day. They also want to know about your career more often. This is a great door open for you. Family is also in good spirits, hopefully, and will allow you to have those conversations because everybody's feeling great and it's easy to listen. And there's a lot of time before and after meals to talk to people, so it's a lot of opportunity. So how do we bring it up when it's so that it's not awkward? Leading with interesting industry insights. So let's not just jump right into the sales pitch and guilt trip people into why haven't they gone solar yet? You have a family member that is in solar, I think we've all maybe said that. But let's get into an interesting insight. Did you know that solar employs over 260,000 people in the US? And huge companies like Amazon, Apple, they all have solar on their roofs to power their company. So this is not a startup anymore, right? Solar is not a startup. This is a mainstream uh, energy solution, and it's time to switch over. So additionally, one interesting thing to potentially point out is a lot of solar manufacturers like Solaredge are switching over to domestic content, meaning everything that we produce is now built in America. So this is a cool feature that your family might want to know about. So then after we've kind of enticed them, we can ask those discovery questions. Do you know anyone that might be able to, be helped with their electricity costs? Or, you, cousin Jim, um, how is your electricity bill looking lately? How would your holidays change if you weren't paying these high electricity bills? Can I at least provide a quote for you? Let's get into a conversation. And also, of course, utilize your family members who have gone solar, because I think we all have them. Use them as allies. What's your experience? What do you like? Let's get our app out, our My Solaredge app, to show what that energy is producing right now and get people excited. And ask them how it's changed their electricity costs so they can be used as allies in that conversation. And then let's focus on follow up or referrals. So let's get coffee next week. We're not going to get our computer out and get our proposal going right then and there. Let's follow up and make sure that we can have an additional conversation. Or maybe let's talk to a family member's friend about going solar for their house if your homeowner or your customers and family members have already gone solar at that point. Okay, Christmas. Now, this is our next holiday where we can get a little bit creative. Um, so, what is your plan for keeping your business building in December? It's tough. We're all trying to close our business for the end of the year. We're all trying to get our installs in for the end of the year. And so we have to start thinking just a little bit about what can we do around the holiday season to build our pipeline for January. Here's a couple of ideas. So I know a lot of us probably send Christmas cards. And that's a traditional thing. I've seen a lot, and we saw last year a lot of really great creative videos that people had created just to say thank you to their customers. So some small videos are a bit more personalized and meaningful in an email to your homeowners. That's a really cool way to do it. But you could also just create small bags of holiday treats to deliver to your customers. And, maybe this is not just your homeowners that you've signed, but this is recent leads that you haven't signed. This is neighbors of customers you've sold. And these are just really small, goodie bags, candies, pretzels, cocoa, and your business card. Everybody likes that little personalized touch. And I think that, if you're canvassing an area, that's a really great way to do it too. So bringing those little goodie bags to give, you will definitely be the solar person they remember if you do something like that during the holidays. Let's not just think about our customers, our neighbors of customers, our leads that haven't closed yet, but are close to closing. This is a really good opportunity to get in front of realtors, roofers, car dealerships. Not to be cheesy, but this is the season of giving. So if you notice, people are a bit more open to collaboration. And if you haven't noticed that, I would challenge you to try this out, because people really are more open to collaboration in this case. We Speaking of car dealerships, in December, people are in a buying mood. We already talked about 30% of homeowners, or 30% higher spend in December, on average for everybody, for consumers. People are also buying cars. We've all seen those um, those commercials where people are giving cars to their significant others for Christmas with the big bow on it. And that actually happens. People are buying more vehicles. So even if you could set up a little table, hot cocoa, give out candy canes, something like that at a car dealership, or in front of your local grocery store. We used to do this where we were in front of the local Whole Foods. That is the busiest place during the holidays as a grocery store. Even just standing out there and giving away little gift bags or cocoa or candy canes is a really helpful way of generating leads. But let's talk about realtors, contractors. These are partnerships we should have in our community. And maybe it's a little bit of a larger gift bag, or it's a gift card or something like that that we're giving them as just a memento of thanks and a reminder that, hey, you're the solar person in the area if they have any referrals. This is another good opportunity. Bring that gift basket for the realtor or contractor, but definitely make sure you bring your business cards with a little business card holder and talk to them about putting that at their front desk or their lobby. Even it's like a dentist's office, a doctor's office, things like that. Get the little business card holder, put it at the lobby check-in, and it's an opportunity to really have those discussions. I have a couple more to think about. Massage parlors, hairdressers, all of those things, all of those places are very busy during December. So just a couple other ideas. So this is an easy one. Holiday festivals and markets. We have these in all of our communities. This is like a farmer's market kind of thing sometimes where you have different booths. Great time to get a really inexpensive booth space at any of these holiday festivals. And don't spend a ton of money on this. I don't think this is a place to do the goodie bags potentially because you're going to be spending probably more money than you want to. But one thing that is a fun little event to do at a festival is get a spin the wheel, one of those spin the wheel and win a prize type wheels. Um, the situation would be get a lead, give me your information, and then spin the wheel for a gift. And you could get some sort of small gift for that. So you're not giving away, let's say 150 goodie bags, but rather maybe you're giving away 25 because that's who you're getting leads from. So I liked doing that more interactive, and you can really talk to people that way. What I liked having at those booths are those little solar powered toys. Like sometimes you can get those little solar powered toys that dance and things like that. And you can actually hand those out for the spin the wheel prize. People love those. Okay, let's talk about 2026. So now we're talking about the new year. Of course, we can also have a New Year's party. People are still wanting to go to small events at the beginning of the year. Reason being, we all have time off. So we have more time off around the holiday season than we do in any other time. So maybe invite your recent leads and connections to join a kickoff event. You could even do a virtual kind of kickoff event if you wanted to, just to answer questions from homeowners. Maybe it's a virtual open house kind of situation, and make sure that you're available to them to have these discussions. Or you have an in-person event that's just at a restaurant or something like that, where you set up a little get together or a mixer. So that helps. Additionally, of course, this can be a solar party or a solar home that you have that's a customer that wants to do a solar home party. Really great way to do an open house. Our houses look nicer during the holidays. They're all dressed up for Christmas. So these kind of kickoff events are good to start the holidays or the new year as our houses are still set up for the holidays, essentially. So again, I'm not asking this group to spend a bunch of money. That's kind of the thing I want to avoid, because we want to generate these leads in a meaningful way, but we want there to be a high volume of them at a low cost. That's really the goal. So as I mentioned, you can do all of this electronically. These don't have to be invitations that you ship out in the mail, or those types of things. It's all be through email. And again, it can even be a virtual event if you wanted to do that. I like to start these invites with an impact in 2025. Like, how did you impact other family members, uh, and homeowners in 2025? And then potentially state your goal for 26. So I'll show you an example of one of these invitations in just a second, but maybe this is allowing you to think about some homeowners that you installed this year that were specifically, referral champions. Maybe they were great customers and had a great experience. This might be somebody you want to reach out to potentially have one of these events at their home. And you would host it, but they would bring their neighbors and friends in, and you potentially could invite some other people that maybe haven't pulled the trigger yet on their solar system. So here's a quick example, of an invitation. Is your resolution to cut costs this year? In 2025, we were able to help 100 families make the switch to clean renewable power and take control of their electricity costs. The Johnson family was able to take a vacation to Disneyland this year with their extra savings. So this is just a quick anecdote to show, hey, this was a customer that was specifically impacted. My personal goal is to help 150 families in 2026. And to support this goal, I'm kicking off a 2026 by helping to educate homeowners on the solar journey and help them to discover if this solution could help them take control of their energy costs as well. So we cordially invite you for an evening of food, fun, and education. So this is just a real quick way to do it. But if you notice, it's not super sales pitchy. It puts in a impact. It puts in your personal goal. It really showcases renewable energy and savings, not just, solar sales essentially. And so, this is a enticing way to bring your customers to one of these events. And I'd recommend doing it for a New Year event or a post-Christmas event, even if it's December 30th, or maybe it's January 3rd or 4th. It's like right after the new year. Okay, I told you it'd be quick, but that was a jam-packed tip event. I hope that this spurred some ideas for you. I know that we're so busy with the holiday season, but if there's something that you can do to make a small impact, even if it's just one of these things, maybe you're just wanting to sign up for one holiday festival, and you're wanting to canvas one neighborhood with some goodie bags. I mean, even if it's something like that, just a quick and short, simple, difference at the end of the year than what you were potentially thinking before will impact your lead flow in the beginning of the year. So I hope that this gives you a couple of ideas. Last year we did this event too, this lead generation event. We have some more holiday tips and tricks there. So if you want to scan that QR code, we actually have another video that shows even more tips and tricks. So happy to help you in your lead generation journey. I urge you to generate your own leads as they are more quality, they close faster, more often, and give you a more predictable paycheck. So maybe that's your New Year's resolution. Let's get some more referrals. Okay, thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving this week and a great holiday season. If we don't talk before that, we will talk soon.